So, good morning. Okay, I just want to talk a little bit about longevity of practice. And, I've been doing this, let me think. It's got to be like my kid's 23, so probably 25 years. And you guys have heard me say, and from your own practice, I know for me, like I haven't stuck with any physical practice other than this, and of course we went through all the phases of the aerobics and the gym, and I even tried running for a little bit, and that just was not my thing. So that's all fine. Okay, so yesterday I'm taking a class with my teacher and we were in lunge. How many lunges have you done on your mat? Many, 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 many. I'm in lunge and she was talking about the breath, but all of a sudden something happened and my legs kind of extended and the feet grounded more. And then it was just like air. And that was a different experience for me. It almost blew my mind. But I'm like, whoa, look at that. After all these years of deep, deep diving into practice, I don't think I've read a book beyond yoga books. And I used to be a voracious reader, but for probably, I'm almost embarrassed to say how long it's been. And I probably have read a few books in between, but whatever it is, like that, there's still places to unlock and discover is so thrilling. And okay, so then after I had that experience, I thought, gosh, like you guys who've been coming to class as long as we've been doing these Zoom classes, so maybe with the exception of Deb and Grant, who came to almost every class, maybe you were doing once a week, maybe twice a week. But here you've been doing a lot more than that, consistently showing up. And so in my head, I was like, wow, you must be experiencing that kind of, those kinds of things too. It doesn't happen every class, but at some point it's like, wow, pieces kind of click into place. And it's great deep study of your own anatomy. There is that in the yoga precepts or the yoga Bible, I want to say, it's called the Yoga Sutras. One of the principles is svadhyaya, it's self-study. And that is I think it's number 3 of why we practice yoga is self-study. Okay, so I just wanted to deeply acknowledge, the longevity of your practice and that there's so much more waiting for you. It's so exciting. So, all right, that's my introduction to whatever's going to happen today.
Can I just acknowledge what a fabulous mentor and teacher you are? And I think that plays a large role, Johanna, in the longevity, certainly for me, but I suspect for others too. So thank you for the gift of being you and what you share with us every class.
Okay, I'm going to take that. Thank you. Thank you. And then I'm going to also give it back because you've seen how many people have come in and out, and to stick around and do it. It's not always easy. I know there's times where you're like, oh, I just don't feel like it, or whatever it is, oh, she's going to ask us to do this and I just want to do this. Like that you show up and do the work is the most essential. And, I come back to what Marta said at the beginning when I said, I've been with a lot of teachers and whatever, and you find it. So if you find a teacher you connect with, that's amazing. And I'm so honored to be that teacher for you. But I have to send it back that you do the work. All right. Thank you guys. Mwah. There's a big heart. Let's do the work. And we'll just start by taking your seat. Yes, I know, just automatically I do this like that. Setting up for a big hug, oh, I haven't seen you for so long. That opening of your heart, literally spreading your wings. Just take a big breath. And then as you breathe out, you can keep your hands there, or put them on your lap, or start to bring them in front of your heart, whatever you feel called to do. I feel called to just keep them open for a moment. Bow your chin, close your eyes. And feel into what is. That you are here on your mat for the 1,000th time, eagerly anticipating what is to come. All right, now I'm going to fold my hands in front of my heart. And we'll pause here for a nice big breath in and a full exhale out. Press your sit bones into your seat, lengthen tall, inhale, lift your chin. And exhale this breath. And let's call ourselves home 3 times. Inhale. Sitting in the stillness, in the silence, and in the resonance. This idea of self-study. And releasing your hands to your thighs, lift your chin, and open your eyes. Okay, so let's start with a foot massage. I'm just going to adjust the camera. And we'll just grab one foot, whichever foot. Good. And then just, looking at that foot, massaging your foot with great intention and love, gratitude, consciousness. This word conscious, I think it came up a lot last class. I felt like, conscious relaxing, conscious breathing. And, you know what that means because you've been doing this for so long. And if you never did it, never paid attention or rubbed this foot with such, loving gratitude as you're doing right now, we just kind of move through life, not really connecting to what's within. Okay, just one more breath here and then we'll give it a good little twist. And what is within is a reflection of what is without. Like you are nature, And we have all the elements within us. The heat, the light, the fire, the earth element, the water element. Okay, we'll just give that a little rest. You can feel into your 2 feet or look at them. And then we'll grab that second little footy. And I think that is the illumination, is that there's so much more to explore within than what we see in the mirror. And, if I think about how I spent the beginning of your life, like, as a child, you're so connected, everything's connected and open and you're running and jumping and playing and your limitations and you trust yourself in a way. And then as we get older, we kind of lose that a little bit. We get stuck in the life stuff. And so it's such a great gift to take this time. Okay, moving into that twist of your foot. Pink it up. Love it up. Good. Okay. And then let it go. And just take a moment. Maybe wiggle your toes a little bit. Let's roll the ankles a little bit. Good. Okay. All right. I feel like we're going to start standing. And I have cleared a space, I have my wall here. We're just it's nothing strenuous, but we're just gonna use the wall a little bit just to open the legs. So if you have a wall space, you're gonna move close to it. And then we'll just come up. Okay, good. And just take off my sweater. Okay, so I'm just gonna stand a little bit away from the wall. And we'll just take a moment to look at your feet, parallel them. Maybe you want to spread your toes a little bit or even just move them around. And then let's roll the ankles a little in and out. I always like to move my hands the same way. Good. And then we'll balance a little bit up on the toes and a little bit on the heels. You have your wall there if you need it. And just rocking. Good. Okay. And then we're going to plant these feet. So even like plant your feet one at a time into the earth. And we'll press down, let your arms just rest. And just press down into your feet, right through your legs. You can even let the tail drop a little bit, not tucking it, just dropping it. You know, think maybe thighs back, tail down. And then inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Open your hands. You can close your eyes or rest your gaze and just be with this extension of the inhale. As you lengthen taller, press your feet down, reach up. And the softening as you exhale. And just feel you're actually making yourself a little taller as you extend the arms through the sides of the waist. These little wings of yours. I'm just going to do 2 more breaths. Getting so tall. Okay, on your next inhale, reach up. Keep that length, even as you exhale, keep it. See if you can go taller as you inhale. And then keep that length as you exhale, ground into your feet. And last one, so you can get a little bit longer. Good. And then as you exhale, release your arms down by your sides, and we'll just pause for a moment as you are. Okay. I'm just going to take the tush to the wall. So just reach back, grab the wall, take your tush, and then find wherever your feet need to go, like in, out. You know, even walk the feet a little wider and then parallel the outer edges of your feet. Yeah, so this is it. Just have your hands hit at the wall, maybe your chest at the wall, press the upper arms against the wall, maybe the mid belly to the wall, the back of your head to the wall. And then engage your legs. So push, down through your legs into your feet. You might notice that, as the thighs kind of naturally move back, your lower back curve comes in. Just notice that. And then maybe you even take it back to the wall. And then keep everything you've got going on. You can close your eyes or rest your gaze, but is the press into your feet even? And just take a few moments here to explore that. Am I pressing evenly into the right side and the left side? And you can even take that up and say, oh, am I even in my hips resting at the wall? Is one hip taking more than the other? Just explore that. Soften if you need to. And then just come back in. Soften your jaw. Good. Take one more breath. Good. Okay. And then we're just going to maybe put a little bend in your knees. I'm just wagging my knees in and out here. Just kind of shake that off. Okay. And then bring yourself back in. So just going to re-lengthen up the wall. Find the feet. Hands are pressing into the wall. Upper arms, back of your head. Just one, quick scan. Press down. Find evenness. And then take your arms up so the backs of the hands are at the wall. And if that's too much for you, just bend. You can bend your elbows. So they're like that. Okay, so just be here. Press into the wall, press through your legs. Maybe lift your toes. Breathe. Feel evenness and balance, even into the strength. Now, as you exhale, we're going to take it to forward fold. So I'm just reaching my arms forward. You might take your hands back to the wall and just readjust your hips. And then the hands can come down, and maybe they don't want to come down. So you might take them to the wall. Now I walk my sit bones up the wall. I'm literally lifting the left hip, taking it up, right hip, taking it up. And just find it. If you need to bend your knees, as we open here, do that. Maybe I would have also told you to bring blocks if you need them. Meaning, the blocks bring the floor a little higher. Good. Okay, drop in. So you let the head go, the jaw go as much as you can. You can have your forearms on your thighs too if this is too much. And then find that press of the feet. And maybe you do it slowly so you actually can feel the legs engage and open. I'm lifting my toes just to really get into the bones of the feet. And then as your body opens, you might walk your hips a little higher up the wall if that's available. Okay. And then just stay in the shape, but you can let the legs relax a little bit. Good. Let's take one more breath. And then we'll take the hands to the wall. Just press yourself away. Maybe take a moment and little forward fold here. And again, bend your knee, even bend and straighten the knees a few times, just kind of get things waking up. Good. Okay, well, I'm gonna walk the hands forward into like this half dog. Sometimes we do. So, my heels are still on the floor. Yours might not be, it's fine. Let's just bend and straighten the legs, and maybe you do them together one at a time. Just kind of feel this opening, your heels lifting as you straighten the leg, maybe press the heels down, just be kind. Good. Okay, and then I'm just going to start to come forward and back a little bit. So not quite downward dog, definitely not plank, but plankish. Good. Okay, let's do one more. Open the legs, so nice. Okay, and then I'm going to come down onto the knees. I'm going to move into child's pose. Take a moment if you need to add any props. Do that. And then knees wider, big toes touch. I'm going to take my hips to my heels first, and then extend out. And just drop in. And if it's too much, maybe you're up on the forearms. That's all fine. Soften your outer gaze and feel vibrational energy from what you've just done. Notice your hips, your knees, tops of your feet. Maybe I don't even need to say that. You might be like so aware of those places already. And now, once you've scanned all that, we're just going to come into the breath, and maybe we'll come into a bit of Ujjayi breath. So it's breathing in and out through the nose. Breathe in through the nose. And as you breathe out, you just seal off the back of the throat. So it sounds like a wave. And let that just soothe you for one or two more breaths. Okay. All right, I'm going to come into downward facing dog from here. It can always be a puppy or just sitting there. Really place the hands, spread the fingers, anchor into the bones of the hands, turn the inner elbows to face forward as I press up and back. And then what happens is they start to face each other, the inner elbows. Just planting your feet, your legs. You can always move. You want to rock your hips side to side, or again, pedal the legs and just hang out. Let your head go, the jaw go. Good. Okay, and then lowering the knees to the floor. I'm going to sit on the tops of the feet like I like to do. Be kind to yourself. And just open the tops of the feet and turn your palms up. Sit up tall. So if sitting in this way is not your jam, you just sit any way you like. Just be in the softness, almost be in the repose of everything you've just done. You just had your head below your heart if you were in downward dog. It's really grounded. One more breath. Okay, I'm going to come to sit in wide-legged. So I'm going to take a blanket to sit on. You can sit on anything you like. I'll just readjust this camera. Come to sit in a wide-legged pose. Okay, we're just going to start here. So this is always nice to just get into the inner legs a little bit. Even massage your knees, the outer thighs, whatever is on offer here that doesn't get your touch. And then once you're here, I'm going to take my hands and just move that flesh out of the way too. And then maybe roll the thighs in. Okay, and now that I'm working the feet, maybe your knees need to bend. This just releases the back and you can lift yourself a little higher. And then just let your legs, if your legs are straight, whatever they're doing, just soften them. You might want to close your eyes or just drop your gaze and just feel here, you know, almost like the shape of a triangle, but from the crown of your head, imagine that you are, you know, right over your sit bones. And then once you have that, you feel the energy coming down, nice and aligned, and then let it just move through the legs and out through the feet. And just be with that for a moment. Here I am, nice and even, balanced. Good. And we're just going to turn into twist. So I'll take the right hand behind and the left hand inside and lengthen. And then very slowly turn. And if it's too much for the back hip, you know, just go ahead and fold that leg in if that's better for you. Or just turn slowly and feel, how can I offer softening to that left hip? You might even take your hand and just feel it, massage it, press the thigh down. Okay, and this is the pose. We're just gonna have the nose facing the toes, heart facing the knee or the thigh if possible. But you can just feel that left leg soft and receiving. So, no, I'm just bringing my heart forward just to kind of show. Generally, we'll do that to take the weight off here. See if you can bring it back, chin back. Take one more breath. As you sigh it out, let that left thigh again melt. Good. Okay, and then just bring yourself back to center. And we'll just pause. If you need to fold your legs in for a moment, do that. You might even want to move your ribs a little bit and then just soften and be. So you can feel what's shifted already. And then inhale. And as you exhale, move into the twist on the other side. And same thing. And you're moving slowly, feeling into the right hip, the right thigh. Nose to your toes, if possible. You can start to activate the foot if that's there, but without hardening into the thigh. That alone was a hard concept for me to get for a long time. Maybe years, right? It takes years. And I think that's my point, is that it takes years. And when we first start yoga, I'm coming back to my original talk as you breathe here. You first start yoga, it's all about the physical. It's all about the physical. You want to put your hands up. You want me to put my hands where? And you're just holding yourself. Even the concept of right and left. Feel into your right thigh, feel into your left thigh. It's all physical. So here we are just feeling what's happening when we take this shape and turn the chest. Let your jaw go. Jaw and hips closely related. Take one more breath. And as you breathe out, come back to center. And so once we get to know the body, things open, then we can move into the deeper places. Okay. So from here, I'm going to take that little forward fold. If you need to fold your legs or shake them out, take a moment. Okay, then either be here with your hands on the floor as you lift the chest or reach the arms up. And that same thing we did at the beginning. It's about getting longer and then dropping back to the floor. And I'll just take one more breath like that. I get so long, try and keep that length even as I soften. And then inhale and exhale. Maybe your hands need to go back here. Maybe they come here. You decide. I'm just going to walk myself in, and I'm going, for me, this is like 50%, maybe even more. And I'm just going to start to wave a little bit side to side. And as I wave from side to side in this wide-legged, you draw the opposite shoulder towards the inside of the knee, whichever knee I'm going to. And just feel that opening the side of the waist. And you take your time here. We are going to come in a little bit deeper whenever you feel ready. You know, maybe you go like, so you're almost 30%. And maybe you're at, Joe, I'm already at 100%. And that's beautiful too. Because you're doing it. And if you never did it, you know, it's like that expression that your toes aren't getting any closer unless you do something. And I know for myself, when I first started it, like, how old was I? Maybe 27, 28. My hands were nowhere near the floor in forward fold, nowhere near, and probably was like that for a good 10, 15 years of once a week yoga practice. Maybe 10, 15 is too long. Okay, I'll go 7. A long time, because it takes a long time to make those little connections. Good. All right. Soften your jaw, your eyes. And we're just going to be with the breath for the last 2 breaths. So if you need to back out, just feel your breath. Good. Okay. And then slowly come up. And once you're up, then, you know, go ahead and fold your legs or move them in or whatever you need to do. Yeah, we're going to come to Janu. So one leg in, one leg out. And prop up as you need. You need to prop it. Okay, so I'm still on the blanket, but I'm definitely just perching on it. My sit bones are on the floor. And then we're just going to be here for a moment. So here is more imbalance. And so you notice, what are you doing to compensate? Can you bring yourself into alignment here? And you might activate your feet a little bit. Let the jaw go, the eyes soft. Feel your breath. And your powers of observation. Feel what's happening in your hips, your seat, your ribs. Okay, we're going to start with a side bend. So I'm going to have my right hand is just going to come down, left arm's going to lift. Good. And then we'll just crescent over. And you're just going to be kind. Well, whatever you need. I'm just going to stretch this arm. If it's better for you to put the hand down and press, do that. Good. Okay, now here. So sometimes, you know, we tend to tuck a little bit. Can you open as if you're opening to the sun? One more breath. And then just bring it back to center and just pause in the repose for a breath or 2. Let everything come back. Have your eyes closed. Okay, I'm going to twist now to the left. So the left hand behind and the right hand might start in front. And you turn. And then you could take that hand over to the knee if you like that. But it could just be as effective for you on the floor. Okay, now we're just turning the chest, letting the jaw go. And then the tendency here is to kind of lean to the left. So feel, how can I bring myself back so this right leg can be nourished and soothed and not taking too much extra tension. So we find the softness as best as we can, just explore it. Good. Take one more breath. And then slowly come out and just pause in the repose in this shape. Okay. So I'm just going to move this blanket away. Here's what we're going to do next. I'm just moving this foot over. I'm just going to take it up. You're just going to twist behind you and then come back. So you might need to take that blanket out from your tush. So just moving all the way over one side, letting that knee come in, and then all the way over and maybe even to the twist to the left. And we'll just do that a few times. Just go nice and slow. Just feel. Okay, I'm going to do the last time. Good. I'm just going to end facing the left. And then we'll come back and we're going to now take the forward fold. So if you need to bring your props back in, do that. And we'll just start by turning our chest to the right leg. Anchor your foot if you need to, or spread your toes, always fun. And then as you exhale, just walk yourself inwards. So hands on either side. You might even activate that left foot a little bit, and that's just going to protect the hip a little. Okay, whatever's happening with the legs, I want you just to feel like, oh, my heart is just melting towards this right knee, right thigh. And at the same time, also feeling anything that's happening. And I'm just going to take you back to when you had your hips at the wall. And I said, you might walk your hips up the wall to get a little longer. So you might pull that right hip back a little bit if there's room. And if your left hand wants to come over to the right side, you can do that. Wherever you are, drop into this shape, into letting the head go, the breath go, the jaw go. And then taking all of that softening and putting it into the legs. Even though the feet might still be a little active, maybe you need to kind of protect something. Otherwise, you're just releasing to the connecting to the earth, to the grounding, to the earth element within you, to the earth element outside of you. Just letting the earth be fertile soil. Good. Breathe into everything on offer. Melt what you can. Taking a moment in this shape for gratitude. Gratitude that you've done this for so many years. You've built up this beautiful space of deep introspective practice. Good. All right, let's just take 2 more breaths. Maybe that is the invitation to drop in more deeply. And then as you're ready, you just walk yourself upright. And we're just going to be in the repose. And maybe that's keeping the legs here. Maybe that's opening them up or just coming across legged. Whatever you've chosen to do, just feel what you've done. Okay, let's take 1 more breath. Okay, let's just, before we switch sides, let's do a little bit of this. Just kind of shake it out. And we're going to go to the other side. So take the time to set your props up. If you want to sit on something again, prop up underneath. So just take the time. Yeah, because nothing to do. Once we get here, we're just going to sit and feel into, the idea of being long in the torso, heart, third eye, pelvic floor, rooted. And you let that just travel through the legs, nice and soft, the jaw soft. Good. Okay, and we'll take 1 more full breath in. And as you breathe out, the left hand is going to come down. We're going to reach the right arm up and just take this little crescent and you just feel. And I can do this on the other side, but if you want to move a little bit here, do that. And if it's better for you to put the right hand on the right thigh, you do that. So you find, how can I take this shape in the best way for me right now? Okay, and I'll say again, the tendency is maybe that chin to come in and open the heart. Open to the sun, to the fire element, to the air element of your breath. Soften your jaw. Take 1 more full breath in and sigh it out. And then we'll come up and we're just going to sit. So if you want to close your eyes or just gaze at the floor, but you're really looking inside what's happened. Okay, and then we're going to take twist on the right side. So the right hand comes behind, the left hand might start here. Lengthen, start to turn. And then if you want to take the left hand over, you can. But like I said before, it's more about finding the balance in the imbalance. You know, it might not happen today. If your chest is tight or one shoulder sore, or you're having hip pain, all of these things, you know, maybe are temporary, will affect what you're doing right now. So this is where compassionate kindness comes in. Good. Let's take a nice big breath. Let it go. And then release from the pose and be in the repose for a few moments. So you feel, you know, from the hips extending out, even if the feet are active. Good. Take a breath in. Breathe out. Okay. All right. So we're going to come to lie over the leg. I'm going to start again by lifting the arms and just being in this lift. You know, one of my teachers once said, "This is if the goddess herself is pulling you up, and you're just hanging. It's like the monkey bar effect of getting so long." Good. And inhale. And then as you exhale, you turn, take your hands on either side of this leg, and then slowly walk yourself forward. Again, just feel, you know, how deep am I able to go today without taking into, going into stress and tension, let's say that. That we're not killing ourselves for the pose. We're using the pose to heal us. So you feel your breath move in any way you need to. And then the mind goes into that right thigh, right hip. Am I honoring that? Is it taking on too much tension? Can I soften through that outer right hip, outer right thigh? The magic is if you can get that softening, so you're not taking tension there, you might discover that the torso is released in some way to go a little bit deeper. And that might not happen today. So that's okay. It's just deposits in the bank. Every practice is an investment in the next one. And then once you hit that place where you're in the pose and you can really just follow the breath. Let the breath be the guide. You might even bring in that ujjayi breath even at the beginning. So you're breathing in and out through your nose. Reminding yourself of the sounds of water. Softening through the hips, through the jaw, through the heart. And literally irrigating the soil of your body, irrigating the earth element, combining the earth and the water. So that it is good soil for planting. And last two breaths. And then as you're ready, you'll inhale and start to come up. And then again, we're just in the repose. Just feel. Good. Okay, just going to move the legs again just to kind of shake it all off. Good. And then we're going to come to Badakanasana just for a little bit. So if you need blankets or whatever you need, you can even put a bolster underneath here if that's better for you. And then just coming to the foot massage and the inner leg massage. We kind of started with. Good. Okay. And then we're just going to come to sit. So I'll take the hands behind. I'm just going to find lift. I'm just wiggling back onto my blanket. I'm gonna press the soles of the feet together, open the toes. Your knees might have to come up. That's fine. Just be in this lift as much as you can, the softening of these hip creases as best as you can. Feel that the crown of the head is nicely placed right over the center of you. Good. Okay, one more breath. Okay, we're going to turn to the right. And as I do that, I'm just going to take this left leg here. We're just going to turn. That's it. You're just going to walk your hands behind you. You can let that left hip lift. And then once you get to your place here, and take the heart in a little bit. Okay, and then we're just going to walk the hands out and come into, maybe you come onto your forearms. And you see how that is. So the left hip might have to lift a lot. You might want to stay on your hands. Okay. Now I'm just going to press the heart into the back of the back. Let the head go a little bit. And then I'm using the forearms on the floor, just pulling towards the hip so that I lengthen and the back of my head is in line with the back of my neck. And that might not happen for you. You just be wherever you are. If you want to lie down here, you can do that. And you can maybe turn your head so you're resting on the left temple. But if that's too much, that's too much. Good. Take a nice big breath in. And if you come all the way onto your tummy, come back onto your forearms. Pause there for a breath. And we're all going to come onto the hands, but stay in the twist. Just be on the hands. Spread your fingers. Good. Okay, and then we're going to release. So you just walk your hands around. You're going to come back to Badakanasana. I'm just going to move the props I have behind here. And just pause for a moment in the repose. I'm staying in Badakanasana, but if that's not good for you, you just do that. Good. Okay, one more breath. And we'll go second side. So I'm going to take the hands over to the left, move this right knee, and then just start to walk yourself around. And stay on your hands once you get to wherever it is you're going. Let the right hip lift. And if you want to move a little bit here, you can just invite in whatever you need. And then we'll come onto the forearms if that's there. Only you know. I'm just pressing the heart into the back a little bit. It's going to soften into the hips. Maybe you let your head hang, jaw go. Okay. Now I'm just going to use the forearms on the floor now to pull the floor towards me. It's going to lengthen. The back of the head comes in line with the back of the neck. Soften into your hip, into the right side of your waist. And then if you want to lie down, go for it. And if you can put the right temple on the floor on your hands, great. Let's take maybe 2 or 3 more breaths, and wherever you are here, use your powers of inner observation. What's happening in my body? What needs to be soothed? If you're on your tummy, just coming back onto the forearms for a few moments. Softening through the hips and the legs. Coming up onto your hands. Just being here for a moment or two, softening. Releasing and coming back. And again, I'm going Badakanasana, that you can put your legs however you like. Just be in the repose for a moment or two. Take your time. Okay, I'm just going to hug my knees in here, just sitting. So I'll just turn to the side. I'm just hugging them in. Maybe let the head go. the jaw go. Be with your breath. Okay. And just come to sitting. So, okay. Our next pose is going to be legs up the wall. And so you can do this in any way you like. You know, you can have the tush right at the wall and the legs up, or you could be away from the wall. We just want to get the legs above the head for a little bit. And if you don't have a wall space, you can just put your bolster block underneath your hips and lift your legs up. But if you have a wall space, I'm just going to grab my bolster. And I'm going to put the bolster lengthwise. And you might have a block here, you know, if your head comes off the bolster, you can have that. I'm going to have a little bit of space here just so I can let my tush drop down. But, you know, you're going to set up what works best for you. And then I also have a blanket nearby. So if I want, I don't know, maybe I'll put it here so it will support the head. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm just going to come to sit on this, wiggle my tush, or maybe I'll go to the side and bring the tush right to the wall. I'm going to just come onto your back. So I have all these props here. Works out quite nicely. Okay, so find whatever works for you. Just legs up the wall. And I didn't say grab a blanket. Well, you have one nearby. It's nice to put a blanket over the legs so they stay together. And we could do that with the strap too, but I'm just going to grab this little blanket here and just wrap the legs up. So just pop the little feet in the center of the blanket and just take the ends of the blanket or the shawl I'm using and just bring them together. So take your time, guys. Set up in a way that feels supported. Having the bolster this way, if you did this, you get the little bit of a shoulder release, heart opening. And if you're farther away from the wall, beautiful, just feel your hips, maybe your sacrum resting on the floor. So it's not incredibly strenuous. You just want to be in this position of letting the weight of the legs release, feeling your legs, your heels, whatever is supported by the wall. Almost like a downward dog shape. Allow the, if your legs need to bend, whatever they need to do. Just let the weight, the legs drop down into your hips. And guiding your awareness to your whole pelvic floor, the hips, and just invite the breath here. Just want to soften the whole pelvic floor, let the jaw go. Just moving to a different plane with gravity. Using gravity to our advantage to ground now through the torso, through your head, through your arms, any part that's touching, your props or the earth. Tuning into the soles of your feet facing skyward. And inviting in the Ujjayi breath for a few rounds of oceanic breathing. As a reminder of where you came from. And we start off in a fish phase, surrounded by fluid. You can let that breath go at any time. Your legs have been so open. Hips have moved, and now we're just inviting in this rest through gravity. If you need to bend your knees at any time, do that. It's resting through the back of the heart, the back of the head, all the muscles of your face, softening of your eyes. This conscious connecting to everything that's happening within you. Whole universe reflected within you. Okay, I'm going to stand legs up the wall for about another 4 minutes or so. And then I'll bring myself to lying down in Shavasana for about that same amount of time. So if you would like to just come out at any time without me saying, just move yourself into a lying down. And you go ahead and do that. It's just staying with this idea of consciously connecting the weight of your body, the air element of your breath, the water element flowing within you. Because we have the legs up, if you still have your legs up, you might even start to feel and the feet start to pulse. As they work a little differently than they normally do. And then honoring the element of fire. Softening the third eye. Softening your eyes. Softening through your throat center. At the base of your throat. The heart center. The center of your chest. And your fire center. Your solar plexus. Your Manipura chakra in Sanskrit. Right at where the ribs join, just a little bit below, and a little bit above the navel, where the diaphragm lives. And traveling down just below the navel to your water center. Place of creativity, of flow, sensuality, senses deeply connecting. And all the way down to the earth element, right at the base of your pelvic bowl. Whatever shape you're in, legs up the wall or Shavasana, feel your breath traveling all the way up and all the way down. You nourish yourself. Heal yourself in what can be healed in this moment, or can be offered healing in this moment. So staying in legs up the wall if you wish, or you're coming out just very conscious if you're on a height. You come out safely and slowly, honoring this, all the work you've done. So in your final few moments, just scanning from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet, just melting, releasing yourself to the earth, to the earth. The Shavasana pose is translated as corpse pose. And when we get to the end, everything is relaxed, all tension gone. And just feeling that you're exploring it consciously. And then from that deep heaviness, that rootedness, you might feel you want to stay in that space. And that's just fine. It's beginning to journey and to awaken yourself in a really loving way. You move slowly without an agenda. You just kind of feel, what's my next move here? Just moving from here to eventually coming to sit up and just feeling like you have all the time to do that. So much time. Resting on your side for at least 3 breaths. There's potency here. There's a dropping in again that sometimes we can miss if we rush past it. It's literally the place between lying down and coming up. And, sometimes you think in your own life, those times of sacred pause maybe were the medicine you needed, right? So once you come up, just basking in the journey you've taken and the work you've done. Just going to opposite cross of the legs, and we always come into the habitual. So just changing what you can here, even as you sit in the repose of this entire practice. Feeling the softness from the crown of your head all the way down to that which you sit on. And the softening just spreading out through the legs and the feet, even in your mind's eye, imagining that happening. And when you're ready, bringing the hands together at the heart and inhale to lengthen. And exhale, bow your chin in devotion to your practice, to your presence, and to just showing up and doing the work. Every practice a deposit in the bank, an investment in your future. How's that? And so on your inhale, lengthening nice and tall, lift your chin, and exhale this breath completely. And we'll seal this practice together with our May We Be Blessed mantra and one. Inhale. May we be blessed with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be healthy and may we be happy. Inhale. Bowing your chin, take a full breath in, breathe into your hands, hit your breath, lift your chin, open your eyes, and offer this to yourself, to the puppy, and out into the world, and bring it on back. Okay, before I leave you, I know we didn't do this on the other side, you might not even notice, but yeah, so if you have some time on your right leg, just balance it out. Thank you. Yeah, all good. There you go. All done. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy. So much love. Thank you for everything. And see you soon.